Good morning, guys. How you doing? So in my last video I showed you guys my kids and what they were saying about their first day at school here in Nigeria, and I also talked about how we need to talk. Okay, we need to talk, us parents, us millennial parents of this time. We need to talk. If everybody lies to you everywhere else, you know that on my channel we're going to state facts, okay, and we're going to tell ourselves the truth, because there's a lot of self-deceit going around. But while I do that, I'm going to be doing my makeup. Okay, I'm about to shape shifts. Okay, I'm about to shape shifts on camera. If the men find out we can shape shifts, they're going to tell the church. Don't tell the church, but I'm going to shape shift right now. I want to do my makeup while talking to you guys. I know that some of you like to watch me do my makeup while I talk. Some of you like to play my videos in the background while you do your house chores. I am happy to do that for you, okay? Because I have creators that I listen to while I do my chores, so I'm happy to pay it forward, okay? I'm going to be talking about raising kids in Nigeria versus raising kids in the abroad, okay? Raising kids abroad, with more emphasis on schooling, okay? Schools in Nigeria versus schools abroad. We've heard so many people say things like, oh, it's better for you to raise your kids in Nigeria than take them abroad for uni. That's what our parents used to say a lot then. In fact, our parents used to say, oh, you can do your masters in wherever, but you must do your basics and your university here in Nigeria. And so many people still echo those sentiments. So many people have changed a bit. They're like, oh, you must do secondary school in Nigeria, then you can do uni abroad. While some people are saying, oh, at least you must do primary school in Nigeria, or primary and secondary, and then you can do the rest abroad. Or some people even do primary abroad and then come back, bring their kids back to Nigeria to do secondary, and then send their kids abroad for uni. Right, so there are so many variations to this, but there's this sentiment amongst a lot of parents that raising kids in Nigeria is better because it helps you with the discipline. I think someone said it in my last video, something about, oh, it helps you foundation, discipline, blah 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 blah. In fact, so many kids that are being unruly abroad, so many kids that are becoming wayward, they threaten them with sending them back to Nigeria, like, so that they'll go and get the real home training, so that the society will mold them, this that, and oh, I've always had a lot to say about that. I have always had a lot to say about that. I don't agree with that at all. For me, I feel like so many people don't understand what parenting is, okay? So many people who are parents do not understand what parenting is, okay? Like I said in a previous video, if parenting is easy to you, it's easy for you, like if parenting is a walk in a park for you, then you're doing something wrong. In fact, a walk in a park with children is different from a walk in a park without children. Okay, so even a walk in the park, it's still not easy with children involved. So parenting is definitely not something that you just do anyhow, and it's easy for you. When I see people that have multiple kids, I'm not saying you should not have multiple kids. So again, another thing you're going to be seeing me saying in this video is to each their own. Okay, I just want honesty. You can take whatever path you want to take. I'm not here to tell you what to do for your kids or what to do for your life, but let's just be honest about our motives and motivations and our results as well. Some people say, oh, I don't want children, or I don't want too many children because parenting is not easy for me, unlike so and so person who finds it easy to be a parent so they can have more kids. I'm like I don't believe that is true. I actually believe the opposite is true. I actually believe that if you don't want more kids, it means that you're actually a good parent. Yeah, some people say selfishness, this and that. Okay, fine, whatever. But if you really want to raise your kids right, you want to raise them well, with the right values, with the right time, attention, with the right everything, my dear, you're going to tilt towards having less kids. Yeah, that's up for debate. Your inputs are welcome, okay? I don't know what you guys think about that. I would like to hear what you guys think about that. But I feel like if you are someone who takes parenting very seriously, you're not going to born anyhow, because you know the toll it takes on you. You know the energy, the time, the effort, the mental stress, the physical stress, the emotional stress it takes for you to raise one child. Not talk of raising two children, okay? Don't talk of raising 3, don't talk of raising 4. Now, when I now see parents who say things like, oh, I'm abroad, but I'm going to send my kids to Nigeria for secondary school, or send my kids to Nigeria for my mother to raise them, because I have so many things I need to do, I'm busy, blah, 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 blah. I'll just ship my children to Nigeria, or it's better for my children to stay in Nigeria so that my mother, my father, my people can raise them, and then they bring them to us when we are now more settled, right? I'm like, just be honest with yourself and say that you don't want to handle being a parent, okay? Because being a parent means you raising your children, okay? Like, let's not lie, let's not steal. Because some people will say, no, you're doing what's best for them. Is that what's best for them? What is best for them is that the 2 people who did the do to bring them into this world are involved in their upbringing. It's not just sending money to somebody in the village to take care of your children, or somebody in Lagos to take care of your children while you're in the UK, or you're in Canada, or you're in the US, or Australia, whatever. That's not parenting. That's you pushing your responsibility to another person. I dare say that parenting is not you shipping that your unruly child to boarding school so that your child can learn discipline, your child can learn this, your child can learn that. That's not parenting. The reason why you think boarding school is better for your child is because you don't want to deal with teaching your children those things by yourself. Because what is boarding school teaching your children that you cannot teach your children yourself? What is it that boarding school is teaching your children? Because mind you, they are still going to school. So if it is the academics, they go to school. If it is the discipline in general, they go to school. So what is that thing extra that secondary school is teaching them? It is what you're supposed to teach them. If your children are going to school, they are in Nigeria, right? Or wherever you are, they are going to school every day. So it means that academics is covered, right? They are also interacting with other people when they go to school. It means that social interaction is covered, even though it's very arguable that that social interaction is not an adequate social interaction. They still need social interaction outside of school, but I'll get to that later, right? So if social interaction is covered and academics is covered, why do you need them to be in boarding school in Nigeria while they're in the UK? Is it not because you don't want to teach them discipline, you don't want to teach them responsibility, you don't want to teach them accountability, you don't want to teach them housework, how to do chores, how to be responsible human beings? You don't want to go through this because it's stress. Mind is stress. I have a almost 10-year-old who naturally is inclined to be that way, but still it is stress to even teach. I'm not talking of the ones that don't even care on a normal day, right? So it is stress. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It is stress to teach your children those things. But who is supposed to teach your children those things to start with? It's supposed to be you. So let us be honest with ourselves and say that we don't want to deal with the energy and stress that it takes to teach our children these things. So we rather pawn them off to either our parents who we feel are in a better position to teach them these things, or to school where we don't have to deal with them and they will learn it by fire by force one way or the other. Because mind you, secondary school, not secondary school, boarding school, it's not necessarily that your teachers or the teachers are taking care of the children, right? It's not necessarily that it's the school that is teaching the children these values. These children are learning these values from each other. I went to a boarding school at some point. I was way older then. I think I started boarding school in SS1 and I think I left in SS3. I can't remember, but I know I did boarding school for like 1 or 2 years. And I remember clearly that did I even know my matron? Did she know me? Well, I knew my matron, but did she know me? Did she teach me anything? We were just taught by either our fellow students or seniors who were beating us into submission in so many ways or dealing with us in so many ways. So I won't say that what I know now about how to take care of my home and I didn't learn it from school, right? I didn't learn it from school, and even if I did, it was not something that my mother couldn't have taught me, not something that I couldn't have learned at home, right? So with my kids, what I'm doing differently is that I don't know if you guys saw my video where I showed my kids their bedroom. They have 3 different beds, so they all have their beds, they all have their wardrobes, they all have their drawers. I'm trying to separate their things so that each person learns to take care of their things themselves, right? So they don't need to go to boarding school to learn to take care of their things, while at home you have your thing and you are responsible for your things. So if I come to your room and I see your bed scattered, I don't care whether it is Sophia that's scattered it or it is Eva that's scattered it. All I know is that your bed is scattered, that is not arranged. Why is your bed not arranged? Okay, if I see your things not in your wardrobe or in your drawer, why are they not in your drawer? I don't care who put them there. I don't care how we got there. The question is, why is it there, right? And you need to, it's your responsibility. Anyway, that's just on a minor level, but I'm just saying that when we say that, oh, we're sending our kids to Nigeria so that our kids will learn discipline, our kids will learn this, that, it's just because you don't want to teach, you don't take out the time to teach them, which is fine, because I know that everybody is busy right now. I know that it's not easy for so many people abroad. However, I feel that sometimes people lose sight of what they told the whole world was the reason why they relocated, okay? I'm all over the place, I didn't write any notes, okay? So I'm just talking as it's coming to my head. I feel like at some point, a lot of immigrant parents forget that they said that they are relocating because of their children's futures. They forget that. Then they reach there and now start packing shifts, packing, jobs and all of that here and there to kind of meet up with their needs, okay? And I mean the parents' needs, okay? Let's not lie, let's not steal. Let's not lie, let's not steal. What do your children really need abroad to be fine? They don't really need as much, okay? It's you who wants to buy the house, you're the one that wants to drive that car, you're the one that wants to send money back to Nigeria, you're the one that wants to build house back in Nigeria. You are the one that is working so hard to make extra money so that you can do things for yourself. Many people abroad who have so many shifts and so many things they are doing, they are not even saving money for their children's futures. They are hoping that their children are going to go to school with student loans, okay? Let's not lie, let's not steal. We know these things, okay? We know these things. We totally know these things. And I will say it for the 100th time, it is totally fine if that is what you are doing, okay? To each their own. I'm not here to criticize you for that, because it is also a valid reason to relocate for yourself. It is a very valid, you don't owe anybody any justifiable justification, okay? You don't need to say it for your children so that people look at you with this, oh, such a good person. If you are doing it for yourself, you are still a good person. If you are doing it because you want a better life, you are still a good person. If you are doing it because you want to make more money or you want to be able to care for your family back in Nigeria, you are still a good person. You don't have to use your children as an excuse, is my point, right? Any excuse you give, any reason you give is a valid reason. It is very, very okay to say, I want a good life. I don't want to suffer this Nigerian hustle and bustle, Nigerian, anyhowness. I don't want to suffer that. I want to relocate and have a good life with myself and my children. That's fine, okay? Again, a lot of people who say they are relocating for their children's sake actually mean it. I'm not saying that everybody who says that is lying. No, so people actually, that's their major, like they look at their children and they're like, I can't do this for my child. Like I won't be happy knowing that my child is growing up in Nigeria. Okay, there's so many people who that was their genuine reason for relocating. Like they saw what was going on in the society, they saw what was going on with the government, and they were like, I would be a wicked parent to raise my child in this country. And that's totally fine as well. But the big but comes in when they now relocate, and after relocating, they forget that that you relocated does not mean that your troubles are over. It doesn't mean that you've entered heaven. Because some people talk about this abroad as if abroad is heaven. It doesn't mean you've entered heaven. It doesn't mean that your problems are over. It just means that your problems or your struggles have changed shape. Okay? Some of these people who genuinely relocated because of their children, they wanted to give their children a better life, they travel abroad and they think that because they have arrived abroad, all their problems are solved, their kids are now set for life because your kid now speaks, in a foreign accent, and your kids now go to better schools. You think that that's all there is to it. They now forget that whether you're parenting in Zambia or you're parenting in Cabo, we are parenting in where? Bora Bora or in Dubai. Wherever you are parenting, you are still a parent and you still need to put in a lot of effort, time, energy, intentionality into your kids. They forget that. So one thing that I saw happen a lot when I was in the UK was I used to take my kids to the park a lot. I used to take my kids to the park. I used to take my kids to different parks. I used to take my kids to different events and school stuff. Like anytime they're doing anything in their school, I try to be there. I mean, I missed one or two because of, so many reasons. But for the most part, every event, every holiday we had, I tried to do something nice with my kids. I take them out, go to the park. Even on a normal day, just they come back from school, we just dress up and go to the park, right? And go and play. One thing I noticed was that I never saw other black children. Never. Like, if I saw that black children, then maybe once in a blue moon. Yes, Norwich is a predominantly white society. So obviously white children will be overrepresented in, stuff like that, like all these park events, all these, events in general. White children will be overrepresented there because the society is predominantly white, even though it started to change when it's still predominantly white, but at least before I left, I know that I was seeing a lot of black people just out and about, just driving around and walking on the street. I used to see black people. I started seeing black people more before I left, right? But as much as it's predominantly white, I know that there were so many black people that lived there. So I'll go to really busy parks. I'm not talking about the park just beside your house. I'm talking about really busy parks. I'll go to the park during summer. Everybody there, pale-skinned. You hardly see immigrants. You might see one or two Indians. You see a lot of Chinese. You see a lot of white people. But you see black people, especially Africans. We know ourselves when we see ourselves. Hardly would I see anyone there. I'm like, is it that people don't bring your children out? You guys don't go out? Do you guys just do school and then work and then indoors doing chores? Again, I know that circumstances are not favorable for some of these things. Like, is it time you're supposed to use them washing plate or washing clothes or cooking that you can take your children to the park, right? I understand this because you're working throughout the week. I understand that. But you have to be intentional about these things, because we can, if we tell ourselves the truth, sometimes even when we have the time, it's just not part of what we do for our kids, right? So we might have the time and spend that time pressing phone on the bed, or even going to our friends' houses and gisting with our friends, or meeting up with friends for drinks, rather than take our children out to the park to go and play, rather than take our children out to museums and all these places to go and experience life, right? So yes, situations are not making it easy, but that is why you have to make efforts, put in the efforts to do those things, because that's what you told us. You told us that you're going there for your children's life, for your children to have a better life. Then what's happening? And I saw a video. I wanted to talk about this, but for some reason I didn't talk about it, but let's talk about it now. I saw a video of a woman who told her child to kneel down, and the child refused to kneel down, and she was talking about how see what her board has done to her children. Her child is very disrespectful, this and that, and how her child is not does not respect her, blah 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 blah. Which I think we all saw that video. And when I saw that thing, I know so many comments about, if it's Nigeria, just take your child, take her back to Nigeria. Nigeria this, Nigeria that. My sister, it's not about Nigeria. If your child is disrespectful, it is about you. It's not about Nigeria. It's not about the UK. Because now this brings me to one of my major talking points in this video. While I was in the UK, one of my biggest shockers, because how when we grew up in Nigeria and you've been in Nigeria almost all your life, even when you travel abroad and come back, you travel abroad, you don't really interact with the locals like that closely, okay? You might just see them in the park and all of that, but it's different from when you live with them, right? One thing that shocked me, so when we're in Nigeria, we have this preconceived notion that abroad children are so rude, they don't respect their parents. How white children will say, "Shut up, mom," and bang the door. How people laugh at, even abroad, if you watch some of their videos, they will talk about how white children can say the dullest things to their parents, and then the black children are like, "Hey, if I try this one, now die be that," So we laugh about such things, we see such things and laugh about them. So that I had that idea in my head that, white children generally are, badly behaved. That's why in Africa, we discipline our children. My sister, when I traveled abroad and lived there, one thing I noticed quickly is how well behaved a lot of white children are. Don't play yourself. A lot of them are maybe it's because they are white. There are so many, this thing I'm saying now is layered, so many layers to it, okay? Anybody that wants to catch shade should catch shade. Maybe because they are predominantly white there, I don't know. But most of the children that I came in contact with, they were well-behaved children. Assertive, what was the word? They were assertive. They were able to, speak up. They were able to interact very well with me and, my kids. But they were not timid. Let me put it that way. They were not timid, but they were not disrespectful for the most part. I mean, children will still be children, but you see this thing about being well behaved. Many of the children I came in contact with were well-behaved children. They know what they wanted though. I remember one of the few times I allowed Cora to go to the park without me, because at some point my mom was like, just allow her, let her go and play with her friends. Because her friends will come, the children around in my area, they will come and they will want to go out with Cora. They had their bikes. They used to go out on their own. No? In my mind, they used to be like, oh, all these white people and their diehardness. Me, I no fit. So I never used to allow Cora just go and play with them without me being there. The only thing is that I always try to be there as much as possible. So I remember one day that all the kids in my estate came out, were riding their bicycles, they were playing, they were running up and down. My sister, I followed them. I was the only parents there. More than 8 kids. I was the only parents there. I was pushing Sophia in her bicycle. She had this bicycle that had this thing. I was pushing her in her bicycle and following them up and down. I was like, I ain't gonna leave my children. I ain't gonna leave my children to be roaming about the streets like these white kids, because I beg go. No be no be me go speak that kind of English with una. Anyway, so I noticed that, but I was like, I don't care. What I'll do is that if I'm available, I'll follow them. If I'm not available to follow them, then she would not go, right? But at some point my mom was like, just allow her, at least once or twice allow her. So I allowed her go. So she went the first. I told her 6 o'clock, make sure you are back home, okay? Then they used to go home. Some of them used to go home like 7 and all of that. But I tell Cora then that it has to be 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I'm seeing in this house. So the first day she went, she came back 6 o'clock. Second day she went, she came back 6 something. I told her, Cora, mind yourself. Then she came back 6 o'clock the following time. Then one time she came back around 6:30. Hey, you guys. And that day she didn't take her phone because she has a phone. My second phone I used to give her. It's not her phone, it's my second phone. Even though she's one that holds it mostly whenever, we're separated. So she didn't carry that phone that day. 6 o'clock, I look for this child and no see him. 6:15, I no see him. I say, hey, God, who sent me? Why? My husband was at home that day. I went to meet my husband. Like, Cora is not back. He was like, let's wait now. 6:30, she's not back. Then we'll go to the park. The park is not far from our house, though. So. But I was already panicking. I was just trying to put up a brave face, like, nothing may happen. But I was panicking. I was low key, high key, every key panicking. Shortly after she came back, and I was like, what happened? Why did you waste so much time? She now said that when she went to the park with her friend, mind you, this is her friend that leaves her house. The girl will leave her house, come to my house, and take Cora. They will now go to the park together. So this girl came to pick Cora, and they went to the park. When it was time for Cora to leave, the girl said she's not ready to leave, that she wants to play some more. Cora now told her that, I have to go because I need to be home by 6. Just come, let's walk back to my house. The girl said no, that she's not walking Cora back to the house. That Cora wants to leave. Cora is okay for Cora to leave, but she wants to play till 7. And I think normally they have evening tea by 7. They call it evening tea. I think it's dinner by 7 or 5 something. I think they have tea by 5 something, then they go back to, while they are playing, they go have tea, come back to play, and then they go back home. I can't remember how the thing was, but now they used to say they are going for tea. So anytime they are going for tea, Cora will come back home, then when they are done, she will go back out again. So the girl said she's not going back home, that she wants to play till 7 o'clock. Cora was now mad. Cora was, there talking to her, trying to get her to follow her back home. Eventually the girl did not agree, and Cora now came back home by herself. So when Cora came back home, and I was like, why did you come back by this time? She now explained to me that it's because she was trying to get the girl. She didn't want to walk back home alone. She was trying to get the girl to follow her. The girl refused to follow her. And, my instincts, like inside of me, I was kind of mad at the girl, because I was like, you came here now to carry my child so people can walk together to the park. Now it's time for you to walk her back to the house. You don't want to walk her. She now had to walk back home alone, right? I was kind of mad, I was kind of mad, which is justifiable, right? But at the same time, I told myself, I even told Cora, because I didn't castigate the girl in Cora's presence. So I told Cora, you see him, Don't go and be doing things because of these people or because of your friends. Because Cora is the kind of person that Cora likes friendship. She likes friends. The first day she went to school, she had the best friend, right? Even here, she already has the best friend. She has friends, up and down friends. So she's someone that likes friends a lot. And I try to balance it. I'm not saying you should not have friends. I like people who are very friendly. All my friends are very friendly. In fact, I feel like the only people I can be friends with are people that are very friendly, right? So Cora is very friendly. But I try to balance it. I try to let her understand that as much as you are very friendly, you have to also be your own person, and you also have to draw the line and put boundaries. As far as I'm concerned, that girl has put her boundary. She's not going to leave her play because of you. So next time, you too, if you don't want to do something and they are telling you to do it, do not do it knowing that they wouldn't bend for you. So don't bend for them. So I used that as a teaching lesson for Coral. I think castigate the girl. I say, good. It's good that the girl did not follow you back home, so that you will know that next time, let's say now you want to go to the park, or you don't want to go to the park and she calls you that she wants to go to the park, you tell her, I don't want to go to the park. And you know what will happen? If that girl comes to the house and tells Cora, let's go to the park, and Cora says no, the girl will quietly go to the park and she won't feel any type of way, because that's how they are. That is how they are. That's how Igbo people are. Their no is their no, their yes is their yes. They won't even feel bad like, but you're not because of me. They won't feel bad. That's why they can be current. I thought so on this thing. As much as it's annoying to experience people who are, current behavior now, people who snitch on you and all of that, is annoying to experience, but that is why their society works. That is why their society works the way it works, because people there do not stand for rubbish. Like when they see something bad happening, they are going to talk about it. They don't even care that they're your best friends. They don't care that you, both of you, have talked about your life history the day before. If you are sleeping on the job, they are going to report you the next day. Because if everybody's sleeping on the job, imagine how that job is going to go. So at the end of the day, that thing we castigate them for is part of why their society works. But in Nigeria, we'll be doing my friend, sentiment up and down. Sentiment up and down. Authority, because somebody is in position of authority, or somebody is richer than you, or somebody is older than you start giving the person mumu respect that does not even apply. You'll be giving the person mumu respect, mumu consideration that does not even apply. I'm not saying you should not respect your elders or you should not respect those in authority, but you shouldn't respect them just because. You should respect them because they are doing the right thing. You should follow them when they are doing the right thing, and talk against them when they are doing the bad thing, when they are doing the wrong thing. Okay, so that's where the society works. So that thing that girl did, as much as it was annoying, it pained me. Oh, you carry my pikin come out for house now. Now you don't want to walk out with her, come back home, and it's annoying for Cora to be walking back home alone. Even though that was even the last day, Cora went to that park again. So that thing I said, next time when she say she wants to go, tell her, no, tell your friend that you're not going. Another day, me and you will go together. Don't worry, tomorrow we'll go. And true, the next day, me, I'll carry all of them and go to the park myself, right? But that thing was a teaching moment for Cora. So again, like I said, a lot of those children are very well behaved. Now, if you watch that my previous video, you will see that my children were confused at how teacher will be teaching and children will be making noise. My children were genuinely confused. Like, to them it didn't make sense, because in school, and they keep complaining about this, right? In school in the UK, when the teacher asks a question, everybody raises their hand quietly. Then the teacher chooses who's going to respond, and everybody and the person responds, right? But here in Nigeria, everybody's echoing the answer. People are not raising up their hand. Cora was saying that sometimes she raise up her hand, oh, nobody will answer her. She will not keep her hand down, right? And so many things she said in that video, really gave me cause for concern. I'm still battling what I'm going to do about it, because I don't want to raise my children. Because what will happen is this, right? What will happen is that, yes, my children right now are complaining about the school. Cora is surprised at the audacity of students to disrespect teachers and all of that, right? Yes, because they are still new, they are still fresh. But what will happen is, at some point, they will stop complaining, right? They'll get used to it. Then at some point, God forbid, but at some point, they will join the other students. That's pretty much how it's going to go. Like, so I know these things, and that's why I'm already worried. I'm already worried that my children, who are naturally well behaved and who have, in the past 2 years at least, were abroad and learned more decorum and all of that, will now come to Nigeria and will spoil everything. That's in Nigeria. People say, oh, carry children to Nigeria. Nigeria will teach you how to. Not lie. Nigeria, we behave like animals, okay? Let's not lie, let's not steal. Why am I even saying this? Let's not lie, let's not steal too much. I don't even know where did it come from. But anyway, that's the truth. We behave like animals in this country. Ordinary driving that I'm driving here, I just, mind you, I've been driving here all my life. Oh, just how many years driving abroad? Just less than 2 years driving abroad. I came back to Nigeria, and it feels like I'm driving with mad people on the road. Like, it feels like everybody's mad. And mind you, when I first started driving here, it was hard for me to drive. Right now, I'm now driving like a mad person too. You know, when I'm driving with brake, like you're just matching brake, like and they use brake, they drive. You accelerate, you match, because you cannot be driving normally. If you drive normally, you won't reach your destination. Everybody will cut you. Everybody will cut you and cut in your front and go where they're going to. While you are there obeying the rules, right? So I see that thing about to happen with my kids as well. I remember when we were still at the hotel, there was a time they had one event at the hotel there, and you know, we went to the hotel park to play, and then my kids wanted to get something. My kids wanted to join the party, and one woman saw them and said, if they want to join, they can come and join, right? So they went to join the party. So Cora, they even gave them tickets to get snacks. I was really happy. That's where Nigeria is different from abroad, Sha. If it was abroad, they will not invite my children to come and join party that they do not register for and pay for beforehand, right? Because this was like an end of year party for, I don't even know what that company is. It's not even a company. I think it's all these conferences. So their end of year party, they were doing it in the hotel there. So when they saw my children playing, they said, okay, they should come and join. They gave them tickets abroad. That's not going to happen. You will play there. You will watch us eat. In fact, you can even join the party, but nobody's going to give you anything to eat. But when they give them tickets to go and collect something to eat. So time to collect snacks. Now I told Cora, okay, go and collect your snacks. I was sitting down with Eva and Sophia while they were eating their own. Cora went there, stood. After a while, she came back. I said, what happened? She said, people were cutting in her front. Nobody allowed her. These are adults. So, in fact, the reason why I let Cora go by herself was because I saw adults, grown women there. I saw a lot of grown women there. So I was like, okay, since there were women here, somebody will help her. Nobody helped this child though. This child went there, cute for a very long time. She came back and just threw her ticket. I was like, what happened? She doesn't want to eat again. I said, what happened? She said people were just cutting in her front, that she was queuing, people were pushing her, people were matching her, people were just cutting in her front to collect food. Mind you, when I say, okay, now I don't know if I've revealed this before, but we stayed in Echo Hotel. I kept seeing people saying it in our comment section, and I was like, even if you know it's Echo Hotel, why are you putting my comment section? Me that I did not put it there. I know why I'm not saying it there, because I was there, but at that time I don't want to just give up my location while I'm still there, right? But anyway, we stayed in Echo Hotel. So mind you, we're in Echo Hotel. This conference was for, forgetting the name, but something about people that work in oil companies or something like that. That's what they were doing there, right? And like, it's not all companies. I don't know. If you guys know that conference, let me know, Sha. It was a conference for something like, we're not part of the conference, so I just saw them there. So, you know, their end of year party now was what they were doing for children. They were doing party for children. I don't know if it's end of year party, but they were doing party for their own children. Almost like the ending of the conference, so for children to take part in their conference. So that's what they are doing. So mind you, these are not poor people. These are not, the location is not a poor person location, okay, anything like that. But I'm just saying that these are supposed to be like the, you know, people that are up there in the society. Because even if you see the party itself, you know, be small party, or if you see the party, you see the kind of snacks and stuff that they were serving there, you know that it's not for small people, right? And these are supposed to be the upper echelon of the society. And look at how they were behaving. They couldn't even allow a child to take snacks. Mind you, they all have tickets, so it's not like you cannot get food. Everybody that was there would have gotten food and even gotten extra. So why are you pushing grown women, I mean mothers? Because I saw them there. I was one that helped Eva to collect her popcorn or something. I think I collected popcorn for Eva or something. So I saw them at the snack area. They were mostly women there. So I just thought that, it's easy for Cora to go there. I didn't know. I forgot I was in Nigeria. She too, she didn't know she's in Nigeria. She thought it's abroad where everybody just queues up like normal human being. No, it's not gonna work here, right? So my point is that thing that we deceive ourselves, that Nigerian children are well behaved, Nigerian society we teach you discipline and all of that. It's a big fat lie. It is a very big fat lie. Okay, when my children were in school in the UK, they were doing very well in school. They were doing their assignments. Nobody was pushing them to do their assignment. Nothing. They were well behaved. They had so many activities they were doing. They were happy. The children there were well behaved. The society in general, there is decorum in the society. Okay? That's why my children now have come to Nigeria and they cannot believe their eyes. They cannot believe their eyes at at the animal behavior of their fellow students here. Teacher will be talking, somebody will stand up and start dancing. I remember then in the UK, time for school pickup. When you want to go and pick up your child, you just go, everybody walks in, enters queue immediately, almost like robots. They just enter queue immediately. In Nigeria, queue that what happened? And mind you, it's not like the gate was, it's not like it's one, if it's just that everybody's entering from one gate, you say, okay, maybe it makes sense to queue up. The gate is wide open. Like 5 or 6 people can enter at once. But still, we are all standing in a queue. The moment we get to our child's classes, we all stand in a queue. Nobody's trying to jump queue. And it's just effortless. Everything just happens effortless. You pick your children effortlessly, you go back home effortlessly. Okay, so that is a society that works, right? And when people are saying, oh, Nigeria, this one, that one, I'm like, what we have in Nigeria is outward declaration of religion. We don't have, it doesn't show in our body, let me put it that way, okay? They show for our body, if it's about religion, about learning religion, because that's what Nigeria has on abroad. Abroad, they don't teach them religion, they might teach them all the religions. I even saw them teaching my kids about Buddhism. Is it Buddhism or Buddhism? Buddhism, Islam, some other religions like that, right? So, they just do it like they do it from a very general, is it colloquial, I'll call it now, just like general knowledge kind of teaching of religion. They don't pray in schools, they don't do anything religious in schools, right? So that's where Nigeria is better, in quotes. At least in Nigeria, we teach religion, we pray in schools and all that, right? But even at that, if you watch that video, Cora was saying that why are they calling God's name in vain? That every time they're shouting Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Why are they calling God's name in vain? So last class is like, okay, anyway. So yes, basically what we have over them is outward declaration, and I'm specifically emphasizing outward declaration of religion. What we don't have is love for humanity, which is supposed to be translated, like if we are so religious, our actions should reflect our religiosity, but it doesn't. Our religiousness, it doesn't. We confess God with our mouth, but we mirror the devil with our actions. It is what it is, okay? Let's not lie, let's just be factual here, okay? We mirror the devil with our actions. Now, it does not mean that abroad does not have his own score you. Again, if you have listened to me over and over again, I keep saying it, there is no place where it is easier to raise kids. There is no place. Choose your own struggle, choose your heart. There's no, oh, let me raise my kids in Kafanchan because it is easier. Parenting is parenting anywhere you want to do it, okay? But I'm just saying that our society, let's not deceiving ourselves like we are better off. We are not better off in any way, shape, or form. We are not better off. The only thing I used to console myself is that if we are going to be in Nigeria, if we are going to be living in Nigeria for a while, my kids going to a Nigerian school is not actually a bad idea, because they are going to be growing up in this society. And growing up in this society, if you want to be doing, you cannot use, let me explain my thoughts this way, right? Growing up in Nigeria prepares you for life anywhere in the world, right? But growing up abroad does not prepare you for life in Nigeria. Do you get the point now? Do you get the difference? Growing up in Nigeria, because of how anyhow everywhere is, how is survival of the fittest, we can survive anywhere in the world, and we do survive anywhere in the world. That's why so many people, their first experience out of Nigeria is at 30-something years, and they thrive and do well abroad, okay? So it is not totally a minus to grow up in Nigeria, let me put it that way. Because some of you now that are agreeing with me now, yes, and I'm thinking, Nigeria will spoil your child. Nigeria, yes, it does have its demerits. However, if you tell yourself the truth, you that you are excelling now in that abroad, that went there as an adult, you either went with PR or work permit or whatever, and you are thriving in that society, you do not grow up there, but you are acting right there. You do not grow up there, but you are even speaking the phoneme more than them. You even have the accent more than them, but you do not grow up there. So at the end of the day, if you have the right values, if you have the right foundation, irrespective of where you find yourself, eventually you'll be able to compete. So many Nigerians that lived in Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria, are doing big things abroad right now. Okay, so as much as, oh, it's annoying that my children have to grow up in this kind of society, I would not, I don't, it's not keeping me up at night. Well, it kind of does, let me not lie, but it's not keeping me up at night so badly. Like I can see the positives for what it is and just take it, and then I can work towards mitigating the negatives, right, by being a parent. Okay, by doing my job, basically I will try and you know soften some of the hardness that Nigeria brings. I'll try and soften it. I'll try and teach them, what to do, what not to do. Like I keep telling them, when people in your class are making noise, do not join them. If anybody is being rowdy or noisy, do not join them, okay? And for the most part, I know my children don't do that. But again, like I said, it's a matter of time. You cannot, like, yes, with prayers and all of that, hopefully they don't end up like that. But it go hard. It go hard. Environment plays a huge role on how your kids turn out, okay? That's why I said this is where we'll have to say the truth. In this channel, we tell ourselves the truth. Your environment plays a huge role in how you turn out. And one of those things that bothers me a lot about raising my kids in Nigeria is how classist this society is and how basic amenities are seen as luxuries. That thing, they bother me. That thing, they bother me. Basic amenities, basic access to healthcare, basic access to so many things that is normal for other people in other countries. In Nigeria, is seen as luxury. It's not funny. It's not funny. That thing is madness. So anyway, another thing that bothers me is how we do not value human life, okay? And this is not about the government, because we keep falling into that trap of, oh, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. The government did not fall from the sky. They are not aliens. They are people who grew up in this same society. They are people who were raised in this same society. They are our brothers and sisters who are misbehaving there, okay? So the chances that you are castigating them, the chances that you are going to misbehave is as high as anything else, okay? So let's not lie, let's not steal. And stop saying that, but let's just be truthful. The probability, what's the word now, that you are going to behave badly as a president or as a leader is very, very high. So yes, I'm judging you, I'm judging myself too. Let's not even, I know if we go down to an individual level, you would honestly believe that you would do differently, which I agree. Me, if you ask me now, if I become the president today, I'm not going to be corrupt, I'm going to do the right thing, blah 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 blah. Yes, fine. But I mean statistics say otherwise, okay? Statistics say otherwise, and the truth is that those of us who think we will do the right thing are not even going to go into politics. So there's that. Anyway, again, let's tell ourselves the truth. We do not value human lives in this country, at least not as much as they value human lives abroad. Okay, and now one thing that shocked, not, I won't say it shocked me, but one thing that I really got to understand the more I lived abroad is the fact that these people value life, not just human life. They value life. The way they treat dogs, animals. There are animals there have more rights than human beings in this country. The way they treat plants. The way they treat plants. You see somebody nurturing and watering their garden with so much precision, so much, care, so much gentleness. You see the way they grow flowers. Nigeria, they grow flower, not be now we don't they copy them. We they grow flower. If we know fit chop am, we know they grow them. If we know fit chop am, it's useless to us. If we cannot raise animals to eat, it's not that people start raising dogs and all those things and having cats as pets. Before, we only raise what we can eat because of survival, yes, and the way we are normally. I feel like maybe evolution, because of our survival instinct, where we just try to survive, we are now, it's now, I don't know, let me not start psychoanalyzing us, I beg. If you try to psychoanalyze Nigerians, you will run mad. In fact, like people keep saying, if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand, there's something wrong with you. Me, I dare say that if you can explain Nigeria very well, you need to be arrested. There's something wrong with you. You need to be tied up somewhere in a padded room, with your hands tied behind your back or around you like this, you be in a straight jacket. If you can understand and explain Nigeria, it's not even about what I can explain to somebody. If you understand Nigeria, there's something wrong with you, because this country is just something else, you know. But anyway, they value life in general, and that's what trickles or now shows in their society. So if you raise your children in such society, they are going to be vastly different from children that are raised in this society. It doesn't mean that you cannot raise good natured children in this society, but it's going to take more energy, more effort to raise good natured children in this society. The reason why some of the foolish things that we think are prevalent abroad is prevalent is because of how much they value human life and individuality. That's why sometimes they go overboard, they go to the extreme. Of course, it's like that with every society. They are always going to go to the extreme. So because they value human life and everybody is special, everybody is different, that is why we now have so many things prevalent in that society that to us is like, is this madness? Like, how is this normal? How is somebody walking on the street looking like that and everybody is just minding their own business? Okay, that's because they value life. Okay, so yes, it has its negative, but it also has its positives. In Nigeria, we don't value human beings like that, and that's why if you dare to be different, we beat you into submission. We force you back into line, and the line is a nonsense line, a crooked line. We don't even sabi queue for this country. At this point, I don't even know what I'm saying. Crooked line, nonsense line, but we will force you into that line because how dare you be different, right? So it bothers me a bit raising children in this society where we do not value human life or even life in general. Because if you value life in general, you will not allow dustbin to just be on the street or on the road anyhow, because it affects animals, it affects plants, it affects it breeds so many things that you don't want to be bred in the society. That's why they don't throw that trash anywhere. Okay, so I'm not saying that everywhere abroad is clean and nice like where I lived, but for the most part, where our pale brothers and sisters live, you can tell that there's a difference. If you enter the part of society where the melanated folks are living, you can tell. And this is no shade to anybody. This is not me trying to put down our people, but it is what it is. I'm just talking about facts. If you go to a predominantly white society there, and then you go to a predominantly melanated, and I don't just mean black, okay, melanated society, those who can tan, if you go to where they stay, you can tell the difference. Like you just can. Yeah, so basically all I'm trying to say is that raising your kids in Nigeria is actually, to me, it's actually not the best place. In fact, it is harder to raise your kids in Nigeria than to raise them abroad, because abroad, I feel like most immigrants abroad know that they are in a society that is not so religious and all of that. So if you're an intentional parent abroad, you recognize that as quickly as possible, and you will try to be more careful and be more present in your children's lives. But in Nigeria, where the society speaks God with their mouth but acts like the devil, if you're not careful, you will think that all is well and good with your children. You will think that because you're raising your children in Nigeria and they are respectful in quotes. Another thing that many Nigerian parents or parents raising their children in Nigeria, another mistake they make is that they think that Nigerian children are innocent. I laugh in Spanish. Again, I said it in a video before, I'll say it again. The advent of internet, the advent of social media has leveled the playing field everywhere in the world. Those things that you think abroad children know, your children know it well. Those things you think abroad children are doing, your children are doing it well. Yesterday in church, we talked about, parenting and all of that. It kind of coincided with, this whole video thing. Saturday was International Day of the Girl Child. Yesterday in church, we talked about parenting. And I have 3 girls. So it's like, it's in line with basically, it's like God is just speaking to me, basically, right? Those things you think your children don't know. There's only you think you're shielding your children from LG HDTV. I'm sorry for you if you think your children are not aware. If you think that because your children are not seeing, you know, Steve, know what I mean by Steve, Adam and Steve. Because your children are not seeing Steve on the road, you think your children are not aware that Steve exists or that there's something called, you know, all LGHTV. Think again. These children know it very well. They know it very well. One thing I always tell parents is that if your child asks you what is LGHTV, trust and believe that they know way more. They're just asking you to hear what you have to say. You're not the one that's going to be telling them for the first time about it. You're only going to be giving them your own perspective. It doesn't mean that they've not heard other perspectives, okay? In fact, if your children are not even asking you, maybe they've not yet come across it like that. But if your children should open their mouth and ask you, and don't assume that because they've not asked you, they've not come across it. It might just be that you are not, I don't know, or whatever. But I'm just saying that don't go to bed and sleep with your two eyes closed thinking that all is well because you're raising your children in Nigeria. It go shock you. What these children know, what these children have seen, what these children do, especially if you're a kind of parent that allows your children to have gadgets and do what they want to do with those gadgets. Yeah, your child might even be the one to teach you some things, okay? Just open your eyes and learn. Open your ears and learn. So basically my point is that people that say, oh, send your children back to Nigeria, even in the village, people know what's up. It's not like in those days where village people were innocent and Lagos people were the wild ones. Now lie, yo. In fact, the Lagos people might even be the tamed ones right now because of so many other factors. It might be those village children that you think, you know how people say, go back to the village and marry an innocent child, an innocent girl. Yeah, all those people that are abroad, and when they want to marry wife, their mother will help them look for somebody in the village. The point of my video is let's stop deceiving ourselves. Nigeria is not what many people think it is. Raising children in Nigeria is as difficult, if not more difficult, than raising children abroad. Let's just say it's the same level of difficulty. Okay, I'm not going to put one above the other. They just have their challenges in different ways. If I were to talk about the positives about Nigeria, I would say that Nigeria teaches children to be more, let me not say rugged, because to be honest, having a rugged child is not necessarily a good thing. But you know, Nigeria teaches children to be more, you know, I don't want to say aggressive, because all the adjectives I want to use, to be honest, they are all negative. But let me just say Nigeria teaches children to be more dogged, okay? So your children that are raised in Nigeria can cope anywhere else in the world. You have less instances of, you know. But again, as I'm even saying this, I'm not even saying this with conviction, because the world has changed everywhere. Social media, everybody has phones in their hands. Everybody, they are almost dealing with the same things. We will now even have more things to deal with our government, with our lack of, you know, amenities and all of that. So, to be honest, I'm not saying that I regret, you know, bringing my children back to Nigeria. Again, anywhere I go, my children go with me. Parenting is all about you and what you decide to do with your children. It's not really about the location. However, I can fight you if you come and say, it's better to raise your children in Nigeria. I can fight you for that. No, let me vex for you. No, let me vex for you, because you don't know what they're talking about. Respectfully, or maybe not, you don't know what they're talking about. Please don't do that. Don't do that. don't do that. I've seen and unseen. The kind of things my children complain about on a daily basis here, these are things they did not think about when they were abroad. These are things they did not even, that was just normal to them. Now they're like, my children talk about their classmates like their classmates are like animals. Not like, they talk about their classmates like that. Their classmates are just very unruly, very scattered, noisy. You know, the other day, Ava was telling me that she felt sorry for her teacher because nobody was listening to her teacher. And that's another thing I even need to address. I'm going to address it very soon with the school, is that, again, I chose this school based on so many factors. It wasn't the best school I could have chosen, but location and, you know, school fees wise, it was the best we could do, okay, for now. Maybe with time, when we, get to know the area and when we settle, because we're not really that settled, even though, yes, we have a house now, it doesn't mean that we're going to stay here forever. Because, it doesn't mean I want to stay in this house forever. But let's just say at least if this is our permanent location for now, with time we'll know, okay, whether this school is even the best school, even location wise and all of that, right? However, one thing I want to talk about, I want to talk with the school about, is this thing that my children keep complaining about, how it's almost like the teachers don't have control of their classrooms. I don't understand why. And these are also still the same teachers that my children were complaining about, that the teachers were yelling, right? But now it's almost like my children can understand why the teachers were yelling, which I don't even want that for them. Don't understand it. I don't want you to be giving excuses for your teacher for yelling. Yelling is not allowed, whether from teacher or from students, or it's not supposed to be allowed. But my children kind of are now taking sides with their teachers because they feel like the students don't listen, don't sit down properly, don't wait their turns, they're very unruly, very noisy and all of that, right? So my children kind of understand where teachers are coming from. So I'm going to ask their head teacher or whatever, like, what's happening? Is that how it is in this school? Why are children unruly? Why does it look like my children are feeling sorry for your teachers? It doesn't make sense. Again, children will be children no matter where they are in the world. Children will always be children. They will always have those nonsense that they do, all those their quirks and all those their nonsense basically that children do, okay? Children will be children. However, there's a difference. So, yeah, I'll talk to the teacher, the head teacher about it. Let me just know what they have to say, depending on her response and, how I gauge the school this term, and maybe, because we paid this, we didn't pay the whole year, we paid for the term. I might pull my kids out of that school. It just depends, okay? Let me just see how things go, because it's cool. Let me not lie, they come highly recommended, okay? They have a lot of good attributes when it comes to academics, but when it comes to character, I'm not sure. And mind you, I'm not saying that, oh, I know now many schools are not allowed to spank kids and all of that. I'm not saying you have to spank the kids. Don't spank my child, though. Don't spank my child, though. So I'm not saying that, oh, it's because they don't. There are other ways. After all, they don't spank kids abroad. They don't, but still the children are well behaved, at least in school, right? So there's something missing that these teachers are not doing that is making them lose control of their classrooms. Maybe they have too many students in the class. I know that for Ava's class, I feel like Ava's class is crowded. That's another thing I want to talk to them about. I feel like Ava's class is crowded, right? So there's just a lot of things here and there that I'm not okay with, but because we are still in the process of settling down and trying to understand Lagos first of all. Let's understand this Lagos first of all. When we finish understanding Lagos, we now understand, okay, the area and all of that and the school and all of that. That's why I'm just giving myself grace while I still make inquiry and then still talk with my kids and still try to at least build their confidence and, at least I make sure that my home is mirroring those things that I want, those values I want them to have. We are doing it at home so that when they go to school and then bring all their nonsense from school back, the atmosphere in the house will discard some of those things, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm doing right now, because as much as, yes, I think that Nigeria develops you for the Nigerian society. Like, if you are going to be in Nigeria, there are certain things that you are going to, I mean, at least for now, okay, because I don't want my children to be here forever. I want them to pursue their dreams. If they're going to be here, fine. I mean, wherever life takes them, I'm okay with it. But I'm just saying that if you're going to be in Nigeria, you kind of have to just adapt to the Nigerian society. So I understand that, but at the same time, there are values that I want my children to have that are not, dominant in this society. So that's where parenting comes in, like I started with. That's where parenting comes in. That's where how I make my home comes in, and the values I want to instill in them, I need to actively instill those values. It's not passively. It's not if I have those values, my children will copy it. It's not a lie. They spend a lot of, if you calculate how much time they spend outside and the time they spend inside, it's almost 50-50 or if not more outside. So it's no longer those times of, oh, the society will teach them. It's you that has to show it, be it, live it, and still teach them, still talk it, still reinforce it. It's a lot. So Yeah, these are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I think I'm done with my makeup. I'm not putting lip gloss yet until I finish filming my hair video. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you agree with me. And if you disagree with me, let me know. But just make sure you understand where I'm coming from before you disagree with me. Don't come and disagree with points I did not make. It's your children that are in my children's class, so it's funny, but it's not funny. So before you come here now and start acting holier than thou, it's your child that is in my child's class. It's your child that my child is complaining about. So let's just be honest with ourselves here. Your child too might complain about my own child, so I'm not even removing myself. Your child might be coming home and be saying there's this weird girl in my class that's always quiet, or there's this weird girl in my class that is always snitching or whatever. I don't know. Do I have a child who snitches? I don't think so. But I'm just saying, your child too might complain about my child. So let us just be honest here in the comment section and just tell ourselves the truth about how we are raising our kids and what we can do to be better as a society. Because again, it's all of us that make up this society, both our leaders, our followers, everybody. It's all of us that make up the society. So what are we doing in our homes to raise our kids to be different? What are we doing to raise this next generation? That's basically my question. What are we doing to raise this next generation, especially those of us that are in Nigeria, raising our kids in Nigeria? And if you're abroad and you're thinking of shipping your children back to Nigeria, why? Justify your decision in the comment section or else I'll fight you. Anyway, I need to just go and get ready. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.